Welcome, dear ones. I am Sonia, the host of the Treasure Is You podcast. We are the frontiers, riding the wave of evolutionary progress. It is the steps of the journey rather than the destination that shapes our resilient character, learning, growing, stretching the concepts, beliefs, and experiences. We have the choice, the will, and the stamina to make every second and every step of our journeys magnificent, filled with our own desires that echoes throughout the fabric of this reality, encompassing the whole, seeing with enlightened eyes, and knowing that the treasure is you. Hello, dear ones. I hope you are enjoying your day. I hope you are enjoying the moment. Now, on the Treasure Is You podcast today, I have a lovely guest, and she comes from a long line of curanderas, the seer of the Alma, the soul, walking in both worlds of the physical and non-physical, being in the knowing of both of them from birth, walking them both in all eternally, and at times in struggle in the human realm of being. So I welcome Julia Carmen to the Treasure Is You podcast.
Oh, thank you, mija. Hi, Sonia. ¿Cómo estás, mija? Hey, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So.
Yes. I'm excited to have you because you are speaking the language that I'm familiar with, and I just love speaking to people like you. So thank you. It is a pleasure to have you on the Treasure Is You podcast. It is, most definitely. But first, I want to read from your homepage, okay, right now, and then we can take it from there.
Okay,
So
right.
I'm just letting our listeners and viewers know I'm reading Julia's homepage. She is a woman of Mexican descent, of indigenous ancestry. My grandparents came to the state of Zacatecas,
There you
Mexico. I am a mother of 5 grown children and a grandmother of 27 and a great grandmother of 10. In this time in my life, my grandchildren are my loving salve of my life, as they bring into my life much meaning, and this is why I do my work and word. Can you explain to the viewers and the listeners about that? I think that's beautiful.
Isn't it? Yeah, I have
Yes.
to correct that. I think I have 13 great grandchildren now.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
something like that. Yeah.
That's even more. There we go.
I just turned, como dicen, human years 71, and yeah. And one thing I've recognized is that I always have, but family is so important,
Hmm.
but not at all cost. So what I've learned is that what we leave behind is what we leave behind is our legacy or whatever it is. Maybe it's a book or something. I don't know. But when my grandchildren start showing up, that's when I realized, oh goodness, I better like step up to the plate. They showed up pretty early, like in my 30s. And so I just said, okay, let's take this here. Let's move this in a way, step up to the plate, Julia, and show you who you are and be who you are so that your grandchildren aren't afraid of being who they be.
Right.
So yeah, because it says I come from a long line of curanderas, but my mother was terrified. Not me personally, but terrified for me, excuse me, because it wasn't safe to see how I
Right.
saw. And my grandmother she used to say, you better teach her how to quiet that down
Mm-hmm.
because the overculture came into their region in Mexico and, being a curandera was like satanic, I guess. Put it
Mhm.
in that way. It was more like, like the underbelly of you don't want to do that. So everybody kind of went underground, and it wasn't
Mhm.
safe to be who you be.
Right,
So
right,
you just kind of. My mom was a curandera del cuerpo. I mean, she was a good massage therapist, but not professionally. People would just come to her to. So when I came along, it was not safe
right.
in their book, right? So, in order for my grandchildren to feel safe, my children have abilities, but they chose not to.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so, but my grandchildren, I have a few of them that are like, yeah, teach me. And so I wanted to create a safe space for them to
Right,
move into their fullness of time and space, to
right.
understand that what they see is not to be not to be afraid of it. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I do that through the School Without Walls. Yeah. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yes, yes. What I love is how you describe it as they are your salve.
Hmm.
So can you
Oh, that
explain that a
oh,
little?
that part. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. A salve is, when I was writing that, I kind of went, what are they? And then I call them my non-physical peeps, that they're my guides, ancestors, and so on. They said, well, when you have oh, geez, Louise, when you have a cut or a sore or something
right.
that's trying to heal, you put a salve on it. You put herbs and
Mhm.
whatever it is. Salve could be so many things. Yeah.
Right.
So they're my salve. They're healing me,
Yes.
and because they walk in the room and I am perfect.
Yes.
I am.
I
I'm
love
totally.
I love that.
Yeah. So I'm glad you picked that up, because sometimes people must say, what is salve? And I go,
Mhm.
oh, okay, okay. Not everybody has that in their vernacular about the
Right.
healing properties of getting a
Yes.
salve for some kind of a wound. This is a non-physical wound, or it could
Right.
even be a physical wound, but I think it's what we're doing for each other. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I love that. I love how you describe it that way.
I'm here for another minute, so in this
Yes.
human realm, yeah.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
are, definitely. Yeah.
It's not about right or wrong, it's
Yeah.
about the truth is,
Yes.
right? The
I
truth.
say that on my podcast all the time. It's not
Okay.
about right or wrong.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Yeah,
Mm,
not at all, yeah. That's like
no
people
way.
go, "Julie, is that," when I sit with somebody or I'm teaching a class, they'll go, What is that? Is that this or that?" I said, "No, it's just what it is, period."
Right.
And when you see that, then you can maneuver. Once you start saying they're wrong, I'm right, or even put they and them there, then we got a problem. Yeah, because you're putting yourself either in a place of discord, or,
Mhm.
oh, look at me, I'm better than everybody else because
Right.
blah blah blah. And it divides
Right.
us. It divides the whole thing. Yeah.
Right. Separate.
So
Yes. Let's talk about the school without walls. Okay. That is the most fitting name. It really is. How did you
mhm.
come up with that?
Well, I was sitting with a friend, and her and I were just talking story, and she says, "Well, what are you going to call, what you do?" And I
Mhm.
said, "Shucks, I don't know." I said, "I because I travel. I've always traveled a lot."
Mhm.
And I said, "Well, I don't have a. I used to. I used to run a nonprofit, so I had a brick and mortar. I had an office,
Right.
and I would work out of there. And then one day, I just no, let me go do this full time." And so I'm sitting there, and then my friend said, "Well, you have no walls." Well, what's right there in front of me? The School Without Walls.
Wow.
Now, there is actual a school in your neck of the woods. It's
Uh-huh.
called School Without Walls.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, I looked it up. It's actually it's pretty cool. I don't know exactly what they do, but it is basically, they have a lot of their classes outdoors or something like
Mm,
that.
okay.
So that's why we grabbed the School Without Walls. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's
Okay.
wherever I go, that's where we set up. So,
Yeah.
and also too, it means that it's not just on this planet.
Yes.
Mhm.
Wow. Yes. I just think that is, I don't even know what word to describe it. It's fitting.
Mhm.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
what you're putting out into the world. It
Mm.
matches.
Thank you,
So,
Mija.
yes, I love it. What can you share with people about the School Without Walls? How can it help whoever is on this journey of learning about their indigenous soul?
Don't you just love that? The indigenous soul.
Yes,
Yeah,
I do.
That because I've been writing a book
Mhm.
called The Indigenous Soul, yeah, and it's all my work, all the work I've done, and so I was teaching a
Mhm.
class, and I was just when I teach, I'm totally, I guess, for the overculture, they call it channeling. So I'm talking to their peeps, my peeps, non-physical peeps, and I'm just rolling. And we were talking about something about the world, and then about indigenous, right? Yeah, like
Right.
that word nowadays is really thrown around a lot, but back then it was not.
Right.
Most people would say, "What are you talking about, indigenous?" I said, "Well, okay." And I said, "Well, the bottom line is we're all indigenous." And the gals in there kind of looked at me, like, "What are you talking about? Don't you have to be?" I said, "No, we all have an indigenous soul that is
Mhm.
connected to the all of everything, everything, physical and non-physical.
That's
The
right.
indigenous soul. We all come from one place."
Mhm.
Exactly. And
Mm.
they go, "Oh, okay. Well, I missed it." And I have to give a shout out to Amy. And I'm just talking away because I'm channeling. I'm in what I call I'm in deep, and I'm swimming, diving deep. And
Mhm.
and Amy goes, "Hey, hey, hey, hey." She goes, "What?" I go, "What?" And I kind of got a little irritated with her because I thought, "What are you interrupting me for?"
Right.
And she goes, and she had wrote it down. She's a writer. She goes, "Julia, that's the name of your book." And I go, "What?" She goes, "Indigenous Soul." And I said, "Damn, girl, thank you, Mija, for interrupting me." So I always thank her for catching that. Yeah.
Yes.
Because, we're not, I have the school, and we're not just all by ourselves doing
No.
this.
Nope.
Mm-mm. Then what came, the indigenous soul came from that part that we walk in both worlds at the same time. Now, check this out. I never even thought that people didn't.
Mhm.
I'll be honest with you. I
Wow.
was born like this. I just saw things and be
Right.
things, and yeah, I didn't understand what people
Right.
were talking about. And I was you mentioned something about being quiet. I actually just watched. I kind of thought, well, that why would that's interesting.
Mhm. Mhm.
I came from a family of a large family, and it was no bueno. And I
Mhm.
left when I was like, ooh, 15 and a half, 16 years old. So that,
Mhm.
I left. I said, "I'm out. This is not anything I signed up for. And if I did, there's got to be pot in heaven, because I would have never signed up for this, because that was my
Right.
thing, like, no, no bueno, right? Yeah.
Right. Right.
So I left, and then I kind of went on. I've been on my own since then. And so
Mm.
I just been watching folks, and then
Mhm.
I noticed something, that most people were asleep
Yes.
to that whole thing. And I'm like, that whole other world. And so I said, huh. And then I knew my brain is very powerful. And
Mhm.
I knew that my human thinking was not healthy.
Right.
I just said, I need help. So I got
Right.
married young. And as soon as my husband, then at the time, got health insurance, I went and found a therapist. I
Mm.
went to school. I went to community. I looked for, I thought something was wrong with me.
Right.
Not because I was seeing things, but because I just didn't understand
Right.
what the heck this was all about. So
Right.
I call him my human therapist. I always look for a human therapist when I'm going, I don't know if that's normal. you know, I don't know if that's a human normal movement. And
Yeah.
so the waking up to both worlds, I kind of came in the opposite. Not a
Right.
problem with seeing things. I'm not afraid of anything, to be honest, in the
Right.
non-physical realm show up. Some people ask me if I work the shadow side. I said, "No, I don't work the shadow side. That stuff comes up when it comes up. But
Yeah.
trust me, I know how to work it. I've been there, and I know how to work it. But no, I come from unconditional love of self,
Mhm.
and then it moves to the rest. Me,
Right.
yo, primero." And then you mentioned something about balance and grounding.
Mhm.
Same thing.
Mhm.
My non-physical folks said, "Mija, you gotta get grounded.
Yes.
You gotta have some boundaries. No tienes boundaries." So I
That's
thought, okay,
right.
I don't have boundaries. I'm gonna go learn what this boundary thing's all about. I did. I said, I
Yeah.
went to the community college, and I went, "What is blah blah blah?" Oh, they said, "Oh, you must have low self-esteem." And my I was in my 20s, and my peeps, my non-physical peeps said, "No, but go ahead and take that class. It'll help." And, and it did. I said, "I don't
Yeah.
think I have
Good.
low self-esteem, maybe in the human realm, but I kind of know who I am." Yeah, but
Right.
it taught me some tools on how to be
Mhm.
human. So how to
Right.
yeah, the School Without Walls is about walking both worlds, awake and consciously.
Right.
Yeah, and most people are concerned about the non-physical realm because the overculture has, pretty much said it's a woo-woo thing or it's my friend Jacqueline, who passed away in 2019. I miss her every day. And she
Mm.
used to go to Africa all the time. And she used to tell me, voodoo ain't bad. And I go, "Oh, okay, educate me, mija." And she did. She says, "No, and this ain't, like, because medicine, everybody's medicine's different. And I'm
Right.
talking about healing medicine. So you gotta match the medicine so you can hear. And once you
Mhm.
match the medicine, then you see. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying it's kind of like the door is what I
Right.
call it. So the School Without Walls doesn't say you gotta like I have clients that are Buddhist. I have clients that are students that are
Mhm.
all Christians, and I have
Right.
students that are Catholic and Protestant. I don't even
Mhm.
know who they be or what. It's not
Right.
about that. It's not about what
Mm.
it is in the human realm that you're walking. But if you understand that you're more than that, yeah,
Exactly.
then it brings the world much. It makes more sense. Like
Mhm.
it's like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. There never was, and there's really nothing wrong with the world.
That's right.
I just need to maneuver how to do this, and how I can do this is being awake to both as
Mhm.
much as I can every single day.
Yes. That you said it. You absolutely said it. That is what a lot of people are not aware of because they're afraid. They're afraid of that their spirit essence. And that
Yes.
is our essence that keeps us alive, that
Amen.
helps us eat, to walk, to sleep, to do everything. If you're asleep to that, you're going to have issues. 'Right? Because you're
Yes.
denying that bigger part of yourself.
Mhm.
You're denying it, but because you don't know, you weren't taught that. What you're
Mhm.
doing is at least helping to bring that to the forefront to help whoever's seeking, because I believe we're all seekers. Some
Mhm.
of us may not call ourselves a seeker, but I'm a seeker because I know that there's unlimited ways to do everything, and I know that this world is boundless and
Mm.
unlimited. It's
Amen.
just we've been taught the opposite, that you
Exactly.
are limited and you are bound to this world, which is not true.
No, no,
Completely not
no,
true.
no, no, no bueno, no bueno. That's what I
Mm-mm.
tell. No bueno, no bueno, no bueno. Because
That's
it's not.
right.
That is not truth. That's a human thought that somebody
Right.
has made into a belief system. And
Right.
when once people get caught up in the belief system, belief systems are great. Sometimes folks think, "Are you talking about religion?" I said, "No, no, no, no. I'm not talking about religion as far as a belief system. I'm
Mm.
just talking about when we believe something as a human, that brain will grab it,
Yeah.
especially if it's kept us safe. No, 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 no. I mean, I'm glad I have some belief systems about brushing my teeth and showering and,
Mhm, mhm,
following just the regular driving rules and things like that. Those are good beliefs, good habits.
mhm,
But there are
mhm.
some that no longer work.
Serve us.
Oh, oh, thank you. No longer service. Amen.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
And you know
Mm-mm.
what I wanna add to that is a lot of the belief systems, because hey, I'm a part of the whole just like you. They are imprinted within our DNA.
Thank you.
Okay, they are
Mm-hmm.
imprinted. So you believe that way, but then here's your indigenous soul that says, okay, pause for a minute and think about that just for a second. Your soul is trying to help you navigate
Mm-hmm.
and understand what is true for you and not illusion. Because if we stay in that illusion, this is something I like to say. When you
Mm-hmm.
do things that do not serve you and you keep talking it and speaking it and breathing it and just everything, you
Mm-hmm.
keep it alive. We don't
Thank
want
you.
to keep those belief systems that do not serve humanity and yourself because you're a part of humanity, right? We don't want to
Mhm,
keep it alive by, as I said, talking about it, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So when I
mhm,
talk about it, I always flip it and bring the positive to it, the light.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm around a lot of people that, and you probably too, they have beliefs that diminish them, that are not true. Or I know here's that word true again, right? I guess it's their truth if they believe it, right?
Yes.
They,
Mhm. Yes.
but I
Mhm.
see through it, and I know you can see through it, and it's just like I shake my head like, "No way," you know? You got I
Exactly.
guess you gotta allow that person to go through whatever it is to learn that, "Okay, this is not really true for me." You know what I'm
Well, see, that's the thing. It's a real challenge. Again, it's like, wow, like there's truth, not your truth, Mija, not my truth, but the
Right,
truth. And when
right.
that truth rings true, it's like you were talking about your DNA. It's you vibrate. Like
Mhm.
maybe I ain't feeling what you're talking about. The truth, not necessarily pointing at me, but saying
Right.
truth is truth, right? Yeah, like
Mhm.
truth will set you free or whatever. But then we have these belief systems that we say they're truth, our truth, but then we try to, not we, when I say we, I mean the collective we,
Right.
then, or the overculture say, but what we are saying is truth, period.
Yeah.
But it's really their belief system. And I'm like, no. Now, you know, it's interesting because it's been a while. And usually I would stay quiet a little in my 40s. I was but then when I started hitting my 50s, I started saying, and for probably because I was working on my boundaries and grounding, and because that's a
Mhm.
forever ending thing in the
Yes, it
human
is.
realm. So people would come and get into my space, and I say, "Oh, no, no, no." And I mean, they would go, "What?" I go, "No, no, move." And they're like, "Okay." They didn't even know what
Exactly.
the hell was up with me, and I said, "No, no, no." Or, some people are interesting about boundaries, or they would come to touch me or something,
Mhm.
lot of that, and I would go, "No me tocas, no me tocas, nuh-uh, you don't have permission." And I would say it just like that, and they go, "Oh, okay." And then I didn't have to say it anymore, but it was more for me than for they, because in the
Right.
non-physical realm of being, we just tell our ancestors, "Move that person over there. Can you just
Right.
move that?" And they'll move. But I think it was for me to say my voice, to put it
Mhm.
out there so people understood where my boundaries are.
Right.
I tell my students all the time, stay in your lane. And then
Yes.
one day I was like, and I'm talking about family here, okay? Because I'm going to go over here a little bit. I look at family as the octopi in your face sometimes. You hit the octopi. You can see
Yes.
some, but like so sometimes I go, oh, kakamaka, I got a six octopi in my face, my ex and my five children, right? And one day I was thinking, can't see nada, right? Yeah, and I went on the website. I said, I wonder if anybody's ever put an octopus on their face. And I was thinking, I have to, apologize to all the men in the world. I bet it was a guy. I bet a guy got a dare and put an octopi in his face. I wonder what happened. Oh, shucks. It was a female. Somebody dared her. She was, I don't know. You can look it up on Google. Somebody
Oh, wow.
dared her. And the more she tried to pull it off, the more that octopi stood there. And so it
Mm.
wasn't until she relaxed and just slithered down. So in saying that, I was some days I just tell myself, "Oh, Miha, you got the octopi in your face. Your family's in your face again." And it's not about them. It's about me letting go and
Right.
being in the presence of self. But
Right.
I fight it all the time
Yes.
as a great grandmother and a grandmother, and as mother of five grown folks. Yeah,
Mhm.
and sometimes they come to me with their stuff, and
Mhm.
I have to be careful because I take responsibility for my dysfunction in my human realm. I do
Mhm.
all the time. But
Mhm.
then I'm like, man, these guys are all hitting 50s and more. One's going to be 54. The other one's going to be 50 this year. And I had them young. And then, blah, 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 and I'm thinking, no, yeah, yeah, yes, it acabó.
Mhm.
Let's all do some healing here, man. Because this is, if you're going to walk these both worlds together in the realm that we're in, then shh. And I
Mm.
hear you do that, Miss Sonia. I hear you do that. Shh, getting quiet, not shitting yourself, but getting quiet so you can hear the soul self of being, so you can see what is real.
Mhm.
And yeah, so going back to that whole thing with, staying in your lane. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, we got the friggin' octopi's on my face, And then I went, oh my goodness, I didn't notice. Here we go again, my boundaries. I didn't notice some of these folks were getting into my lane.
Right.
Yeah, they were like there. I just, as a mother, I'm like, okay, they're here. Of course, I'm going to help them. Of course, I'm going to do this. Of course, I'm going to let them blame me for everything, which totally is fine, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But you need to go do it in your lane. Take care of you.
Yeah.
I'll take care of me. So that maybe that's 101 to you. And I think a lot of times we go back to 101, but I thought, oh my goodness. And my students are all looking at me like, we know you, Julia. You're so kind and loving and all this good stuff. I could see where somebody would get into your lane and you wouldn't even notice it. Because people be who they be.
Yeah.
I really don't have any judgment around them, to be honest. I
Mhm.
just see and I go, huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. No, I don't like,
That's you know
okay.
what? It's funny you say that. My oldest daughter, that's her line. Like
Mhm,
when she can't understand something or something's
mhm,
bizarre, she'll
mhm.
say, that's interesting."
Right?
That's what she says.
Because it
And I
is. It's
it
like,
is.
how did
I
they
think
come up
that's a
with
great
that?
word to say.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, because
Yeah.
isn't that interesting? Tell your
It
daughter.
is
I bet you
interesting.
it is. How did they come? I always think, how did they come up with that? Okay, that's how powerful the mind is. That's how powerful thought is. Not what you're
Yeah.
thinking. That's
Yeah.
how powerful human thought is.
Yeah.
And I'm into the divine thought, which we have access to 24/7. That's
Mhm.
the indigenous soul.
Yes.
Divine thought comes from the source of the all.
Yes. Yes,
Mhm.
and that's
Yeah, that human mind, ooh,
I
oh,
know.
unas veces,
Yeah, keep
mm-mm,
you
no
busy,
bueno.
tired, and have you confused, right?
Overwhelmed.
Yep. What else? I mean, we can just
Mhm. Keeps you
addicted.
addiction keeps you in those habits,
Yeah.
those belief systems.
Yeah.
Exactly. Every pain and suffering I have sat with folks in any realm, not in the non-physical realm, but in the human realm, it's always about the past and always about the future.
Mhm.
It's not
Mhm.
what if it's happening in the moment,
Right.
we can do that. Whatever it is. And I've been with folks that have in the moment things have happened and it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
And just sitting there. But if folks are, everything's running well
Mhm.
and you're in the moment, all of a sudden a person starts doing blah blah. And I go, oh, mija, mija, or mijo, what's up? What's going on? Oh, I just had this memory. I said, okay, it's okay. It's okay. Let's be here now.
The next thing I wanna talk about is dragonflies.
Oh, mija.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Yeah.
wanna share, I guess, an
Mm-hmm.
experience I had when I
Oh,
lived in
please.
Florida, and then you can chime in and add whatever you feel your soul is telling you to say. But, I walk every morning, and I was
Mm,
living in South Florida for a long time, and I walk out in nature because that's what I love to do. And one day I was walking and I saw this beautiful red
mm.
dragonfly, and I've never seen a red dragonfly. So, yes. So, of course, when I see it, I'm excited, I'm happy. I'm like, "Wow, and it was following me.
Mhm.
It was bright red. The wings were like transparent with the red tinge on it,
Mm,
but it was
mhm,
like it was communicating with me, and it was saying, like it was saying to me that I'm passionate. I'm very passion filled, and to stay grounded and to keep following my heart. And it just kept
mm,
flying. It kept buzzing around me and flying around me, and I felt so excited and happy. And this I don't know if it's the same dragonfly, but I would see a red dragonfly periodically, and it
mhm,
would make me so happy because
mhm,
it was so bright red and vivid. So
mhm,
I was getting just continue being passionate about the things that you do in your life, and
mhm,
follow your heart and
mm.
stay grounded.
Thank
Stay
you.
grounded. That was the message for me of that dragonfly.
Oh my goodness, mija. That is I think, I don't know. We used to have the
Mhm,
story on the website. And
mhm,
so the 13 I actually channeled that was 20 years ago that I channeled the dragonfly. I wasn't a big dragonfly person. I
I wasn't
because
either, but
yeah,
they
I
were
mean,
following me.
yeah, oh, totally. Oh my God, yeah. And so I was like, okay, so I had this vision. There's a difference between visions and dreams and the vision dreams, you know. So I had this
Mhm.
vision, it was very clear. And I go, oh shucks, that's an interesting. So I told my daughter about it, and then she goes, Mom, you gotta write that. She goes, what kind of dreams do you have? She goes, that ain't no dream. I said, I know it's a vision. She goes, yeah, she goes, I don't dream or whatever. She was like totally amazed. So I sat down and wrote it. And when I was in Hawaii, I lived in Hawaii for a while.
Mhm.
I moved there when I left a relationship, and then and I was very sad. And so in that story, there is a dragonfly, and I wish I had it right here because it describes that dragonfly channeled, and it talked about, and I chase you down a hill. Just what you
Wow.
said. And there's more to it. Yeah. So get a chance to, look at that.
Yes.
Yeah, the dragonflies are messengers of, they're angels, messengers from God, the creator
Mhm.
of all. They're here to bring us messages
Yes.
of what's happening now and always. And so I have been sitting with them for 20 years and about I don't know when. So I thought, okay, let's get these dragonfly deck out. And so I found somebody in Hawaii, and she got the dragonfly cards. I had all the
Mhm.
text. I channeled 52
Wow.
dragonflies, like boom. And I,
Well,
I I look at them now and I still go, damn, yeah, uh, because I I'm going, wow, I channeled all these. Yeah, all right, and it was easy. It was not like a big, huge thing. The only
uh-huh.
difficult part was when my brain got in there and said that don't make no sense. And I said, well, and so I would let it go. Anyway, so the dragonflies. People ask me, well, how do you use these cards, right? Because
Mhm.
every deck has a way of using the cards. And I thought,
Right.
well, okay. And I said, well, actually, just like the story you just shared, Sonia. Okay, Miha, about the red dragonfly.
Mhm.
It is friggin' almost word by word. The gist of it is exactly what you're receiving, what you received from
Mhm.
that red dragonfly.
Mhm.
And so what I've been doing now is just sharing with folks when those dragonflies came to be. What I when I lived in Hawaii and I saw the whales. I talk to everything. Everything talks
Mhm.
to me. We talk story, right? So I was down by the cliffs. They call them the cliffs where I was living in Hawaiian Paradise Park, and I had my grandson Nakoa, and I said, "Hey, let's call the whales." And so we sat there singing, and here comes the whales, and we're like whooping and hollering. And then I said, "Oh, I'm going to sit here and talk story with these whales." He goes, "Okay, me too." So we sat there and just talking away and listening. And I was asking about the dragonflies, and they said, "Well, the dragonflies are like us." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "A long time ago, or scientists think that we have a new song every year." And I go, "Yeah, but you don't, right?" They go, "No, no, no. It's a continuation of the song from last year and
Mm.
last year and last year. So it just keeps moving." And I said, "What does that have to do with the dragonflies?" And they said, "Well, when somebody picks red dragonfly, let's use that one, and they have, and it says blah blah, and they get what they get from it. It's a continuation because the dragonflies come from one source.
Mhm.
I happen to be the conduit, right? Yeah,
Right.
and because they picked me, which was really cool. Um, and then let's say Irene picks the red dragonfly over in New Zealand and it says blah, blah. Well, your song connects to her song. And then that's how it goes. We're connecting.
Mm.
They're connecting us.
Yes.
Yeah, we may never meet each other, but your words will
Mhm.
be sung to her.
Wow.
Isn't that the coolest thing?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I
Wow.
do have like directions, but that's pretty much it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I've
Yeah.
been trying to get a pamphlet together, but so I'm
Right.
like, it's personal.
So I know, yeah, for me, like I said, I would see it periodically, not just
Mm-hmm.
one time, and it
Mm-mm.
would make me happy. I guess I had a little more pep in my step when I was walking and I saw that red dragonfly.
Yeah, and check it
Yeah.
out. That message, like I said, that dragonfly is giving you, Miha,
Mhm.
has even more in it every time it shows up.
Wow.
Yeah. Take that. I mean, like maybe consciously you don't hear it, but
Mhm.
definitely it's going into your DNA. It is activating, it is
Mhm.
moving. It is talking story with you in
Yeah,
ways that you just go, wow, because that's real.
it
Yeah,
is.
dragonflies are pretty cool. I like, yeah, I use them in my work a lot of the times. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just send them to folks. Did you send that dragonfly over here, Julia? I said I sure did. Did you
You
get the
sure did.
message? Yeah, thanks for the message. I don't need to know the message. I just know they need something. Does that make sense?
Right,
Hmm. Yeah.
right.
No need. No need. That's too much info, anyways.
I mean, I'm going to move forward and ask you about your programs on your website. So, what
Hmm.
the first one that comes to your head? You can just say one of them, and then
Hmm.
tell us about it, or what people can learn from it.
Well, the first one that comes to my head, thank you, Miha,
Hmm.
is the Mac class. People go, what's the
Okay.
Mac class? And I said, well,
Yes.
I used to call it the Master Soul class. And
Hmm.
then Miss Oprah, I say I was like this little small kind, right? And then Miss Oprah started, and somebody says, oh, Miss Oprah stole your Master Soul class thing. I said, no, she
Really?
didn't steal nothing. I said, it's out there in the universal source of all,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, then I thought, well, I don't want to mix it up. So I went Master Alma class. Alma means soul in Spanish. That's what we call it
Right.
Mac. Everybody gets together. Oh, you're talking about we're going to get together and work on a Mac. No, 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 Master Alma class. So that one's my primo. Like that. That is the one that I only take on 6 students a year,
Hmm.
and there are 2 classes, and 3 and 3, and we meet once a month. And there's a whole lot more going on there, but that class right there is for folks what I call the point people. Those are the folks that are teaching and being in the world, that
Mm.
doing whatever it is that they're doing,
Right.
running corporations or building a new business or whatever. And they're like minded, like you are, Miha, like
Hmm.
minded folks that really want to bring in those two worlds together in a
Right.
way. Yeah. So they never have to, if they don't want to, say soul or spirit,
Hmm.
but they can use the word wisdom.
Right.
So bringing in, and I'm here in Silicon Valley, right? In that soul spirit into that which is. So I know I'm not going to be teaching 1,000 million people, and I don't want
Right.
to anymore. I'm getting to that place. But
Hmm.
each person that I call a point person, if you look at like a pyramid or a triangle, they're
Right.
the point of the top. And then you got your support system on those 3 other
Mm.
ones, right? Yeah. And I could be the rudder for a minute. Yeah. And then in there are all their folks,
Okay.
wherever they go, wherever they be. So I tap into that which they need in the moment,
Mhm.
because the soul self of being has tons of information. How are
Yes.
you going to decipher all that, right? Sometimes
Right.
we can't see because we have so much going on. So what
Mhm.
I do is I literally just pull the little strands from the non-physical soul self of them and pull them into the realm of whatever's going to need what they need and want. But most of all, I help them get quiet so they can hear their own soul self of being. So they can pull their own strings out, go boom, then do
Right.
their work. Yeah. One of my gals calls me, she's a coach for a big company out here. And she goes, you're like a soul coach. I said, I guess so.
I guess so, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I would call me whatever you want. But and so she goes out there, travels the world and teaches blah blah, but at the same time is bringing in that part of the, I don't even want to say humanity of it, but the soul of it,
Yeah, the
the
soul.
soul of whatever it is that company's trying to bring out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. I love that. So that's my primo. That's where most of my work is. And then I have this tongue in cheek, what I call Chi Chi Soul Time.
Mhm.
You know, some people go, "What you be talking about?" My friend called me Julie. What are you putting out there, chichis? And I go, "Oh, just like a guy, talking about." I said, dude, were you nursed? He goes, "Oh, I don't remember if I was nursed." He got funny. He got stupid. So, so I said, like when you nurse your children, if you nurse your children or you hold them, or
Yeah.
you've been nursed, right? Oh man, that is like the best. Even if I bottle fed a couple and nursed a couple, both really cool. But you bring them up to your chest and they just being
Mhm.
fed and loved, and their little toes go bing, when they get full and nuzzle up against you. Well, we're grown people, and I think we forgot. We forgot how to give ourselves chichi soul time, and
Yeah.
soul time is self care. Self care is soul time. Yeah, so
Right.
that's the other one that I really love teaching, folks really enjoy that one. Then the others are pretty much like the dragonfly cards and
Mhm.
just my retreats. I have a retreat coming up in May in
Oh, okay.
Montana. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know when this podcast is going to come out, but we have a couple more openings on that one. Those are what I call my you go for 5 days, you just go deep with self.
Mm.
And I don't take anyone anywhere unless I check out the land first. I call it
Right,
an aerial look. I go and check things out in the non-physical realm, poke
right.
around. Okay, this land's good. And I've been to a lot of places in non-physical realm, but this one at Dancing Spirit Ranch is probably the most como dice, settled land I've ever been on. The stewardships, the folks that have taken care of that land have done a
Mhm.
great job, with congruent with those that are in the non-physical realm. I've not
Wow.
been in a land where I have had to, like, so my retreats are like, you want to go on a soul journey for self, you
Mhm.
want to go, that's it. Yeah.
Wow.
And be you, like the nurturing, the food, the moment you get there. Any of my retreats, the moment you get where you be, you're the
Mhm.
queen.
Mhm. So
You're the
so are your soul retreats 5 days or it depends?
The ones that I do are usually 5 days. Some I do a which I think you would enjoy. I do a timeline one once a month or once a month, once a year or once every 18 months. It's called
Mm.
timeline work retreat, and that's a few days.
Oh, okay.
That's because remember all that information's coming in, right? So
Yes.
how do you decipher? So what we do is we actually, and I know talking to you and maybe your folks, because time is subjective.
Mhm. Yes.
There is no time. There is none.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but we're in the moment of time. We've all
Right.
agreed that this is the time. This is
Mhm.
certain time, right? Yeah. So what we do is we set up a timeline for you folks on, and then we invite all of these retreats, all of these things that I offer. All your non-physical folks come in, your ancestors, your guides, everyone, those that need to be there for you, and
Right.
so on. Yeah. So the timeline is, let's say you have a goal, put whatever that is, you have a
Mhm.
plan to do something in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. We actually go in. When I say go in, we go into that what I call the liquid light, that
Mhm.
energy. Like the fish goes, where is it all? And the
Right.
bigger fish goes, or whatever. The whale goes, you're in it. You're in it, man. So, so that's what we do. We actually get quiet enough so that we go in and we get into that liquid light and then pull in. Well, that is what you need. And all the folks that have been going and they've been saying, when are we going to do another timeline? They've been hitting the marks, meaning like, oh my gosh, this is what I said. Yeah, I said it's not woo woo. This is more normal than what we're doing right now. This is being a human. The way we make it so complicated and so
I
difficult. No
know.
bueno.
I'm glad you're saying that. I am
Oh,
so glad that you are saying that because a lot of people do say this woo woo. I listen
no.
to them and I'm like, "But what is that?" You know? Like you just said, being a human is very difficult and hard. Where if we align with our true spiritual essence,
Yeah.
that's more relaxed, right?
Thank you. Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So
JC. That's what I call
yes, I
Mr.
mean, so yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And that's a part of the collective belief system. As I say, denying their true essence, denying. And I can say that because guess what? I denied my
Mhm,
true essence in some parts of my life as well because I was so entrenched into the
mhm.
physical,
Thank you.
that
Mm,
physical reality that kept me going on the same street, talking, saying the same crap that's not helping me. You know what I'm saying?
oh
Keeping
yes.
me busy,
Mhm,
keeping my mind away from
mhm.
me, from what I
Exactly.
need to be doing.
Mhm. You
That
know what, Mia? You just brought something home that you know how again we're in this liquid light of energy that's just here, right? Yeah. And I
mhm.
really forgot something where my peeps are going, you did not share with her about the frequencies. And I go, oh kakamaka, I did not. So
I love
because
that.
I'm in it, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
I share with folks. It's my signature. Everything you go to. I work with folks on the frequencies of being. We're a vibration and frequency. That's who we are. And so I always break them up into four, but not really, but there is. Yeah. So, and
Mhm.
I don't look at high energy or low energy. I look at dense energy, medium, and then uh, fine frequency. So the
Right.
level of consciousness, right? So the finer the frequency, you're going to listen finer, 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 finer. You hear,
Mhm.
hear, hear, hear. Because anytime you say high and low, it kind of puts people in, oh, you're in a high vibration, you're in a low, yeah,
Mm.
whatever. High
Yeah.
vibration can hurt your ears. So, but finer frequency, a
Mm.
nice one like that, right?
Right.
Brings your awareness level up in that quiet space, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
there's three that are human conditions that will be with us until we are no longer in the physical realm. That is one, busy mind, distraction,
Mhm.
judging and evaluating and paying attention. Those are three of human conditions, and they're all about the past and they're all about the future. The
Mhm.
fourth one, which is the one that I do my best to help folks in all of my retreats, the MAC class and everything, is the divine thought. That
Mm.
has no human thought. That is what you're talking about, Neha, the essence of
Mhm.
you.
I
That
just got a
is,
ringing in my ear when you said divine thought. I just got a
yeah,
ringing in my ear when you
right?
said that.
That's what it is because it's with us 24/7. Somebody said, well, my students sometimes will go, is this what you're talking about? I said, there you go. I can't tell you what that feels like. You just said it. I got a ringing in my ear that says, this is truth, not Julia's
Yes.
truth, not my truth, yours, Sonia's, but the truth.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about Julia's going to tell you what to do. People used to,
Mhm.
a long time ago, people would go, I had to shut my stuff down for a minute because people are looking for people to follow. And
Right.
so in my 40s, people were like following me. So, oh, no, 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 don't follow me. Hey, shit, please. I ain't got this together yet. Man, you'd
Yeah,
be
don't
seeing me out
follow
there.
me.
No, no. I said, you know what? Don't follow me. I don't even follow myself.
Right.
I go, no,
Yeah.
no. They go, who do you follow? I said, none of your business. I follow the divine self.
Right.
The because as soon as I say blah blah, if I say anything, I'm not following any human. Let me just put it that way. I said, I follow divine thought. Divine thought is where the dragonflies were created from. Had I wanted to create something, I would have gone with something else. I'm
Right.
serious. Yeah, I wouldn't have gone with dragonflies. I like them, but I wasn't really into them. But
Right.
the creator of all, the great I am, knew that I
Mhm.
didn't have any thinking around dragonflies. So
Wow.
in that divine thought, it was all there. And so my folks are always saying, my students say, well, how do I get there? I said, you're there already. That's the
Mm.
illusion. The human thing is the illusion that you're not there,
Yeah.
that you need this, you need that, you need to travel here. You know what, Miha? I don't like traveling, but I travel a lot because the great I am, the divine thought, the truth of what my works, they say, you need to go here. And I do it because I know that ringing in your ear, that is your signal, your physical signal
Mhm.
that says,
Yep.
yep, truth. And
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, because
Mhm.
I know our time may be getting short, but there was one thing I do want to share, Miha, and that
Mhm.
is I've had as you get older, and maybe not so much older,
Mhm.
I have this blessing that I can talk to folks on that other realm that have just passed.
Right.
And I love it. I've been able to escort people in the non-physical realm that I can only go so far, and then they said, "Now you got to go back." Okay, whatever. But we've had a lot of folks pass in this last about 4 or 5 months, and I'm telling you, I get a big kick out of it. Not out of them dying, not because I just look at it as a rebirthing. Now I'm going to
Right.
miss
Yes.
some and all that, and I miss my friend Jacqueline and all that. I do, and she gets mad at me like at the beginning. What are you crying for? You know what's up? And I go, I don't, but I was supposed to go first. We were going to take care of each other, right? But they always give that same look as soon as they're out of their body. As soon as they go,
Mm.
the look is, that
Mm.
human thing. What
Yeah.
the f is that
Yes.
all about, Julia? I said, I don't know, man. This didn't have to be that difficult. And I said, I know, right?
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that right there, Miha, that I found that a blessing for me,
Yes.
for I,
Wow.
because now I kind of go, oh my goodness.
Mm.
They remind me.
Uh-huh.
that all my fussing is for naught.
Right. Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, Julia, we are about to end
I
the podcast, but before we end, I want you to say your website and then anything else you want the viewers and the listeners to know, like I guess the retreat, you can repeat that. Any last thought you want to say, and then we're going to end it because we can go a lot longer because this is a rich conversation. It really is.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mija. Well,
Yes.
you know what? The thing that keeps coming up and that I see, yeah, you go to my website, theschoolwithoutwalls.net. Yeah, go there and get all the goodies and see. I have some really good, fun, free goodies. Yeah, no obligation. But the one thing that I do know, somebody asked me, well, what is your work? And yeah, walking both worlds at the same time. It's about love. I'm talking about this a real challenging thing for us as humans is to be in the divine love of self.
Yes.
And that's where it's at, divine love of self. And then whatever else, it will permeate to other folks if you need to. Because every program I have, that's the one thing I've noticed, folks. Unconditional love for self, unconditional trust in self,
Yes.
and then move from that space. Because
Yeah.
there's nothing, you said it, Miha, like the dragonflies, they come to you and they're always giving you the same kind of message.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, stay grounded, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
I'm going to add this, don't let anybody get in your lane. Maybe that was already a your thing. It wasn't mine. I wasn't seeing it. That's what we call blind spot. But it all comes back to divine, unconditional love of self.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Amen. That's it.
Yes. All right. Well, as I say at the end of the podcast, everybody just remember to stay in the present moment. And we learned so much from Julia today about the indigenous soul. And if you want to join her, go to her website. I have on the prompter her website, The School Without Walls. I think it is something much needed in the world for people who are seeking to find their indigenous soul. Remember that. It was a pleasure having you on the Treasure Is You podcast, Julia. And for everyone else, remember always that the treasure is you. Take care and namaste.